Hi, I'm Cindi McGee, and you're watching Polymer Clay TV. Today's veneer is inspired by this beautiful mixed media gelatin print project by artist Nelah Smith Gabler. This is a great project to use up scraps of clay. I'm using some scraps of a couple of different reds from my Primo Sculpey stash. I conditioned and rolled them out to a setting 3 on my clay machine, and I'm going to color them a little bit with some PanPastels. You can intermix colors, whatever you have on hand, but these are the shades I chose. And I'm just using my finger to drag some of the color randomly across the surface of both of these sheets of red. I'm trying to mimic the sort of mottled background in the flowers on the original gelatin print. On part of the two sheets, I'm going to silkscreen with some white paint and the Spiral Swirl silkscreen from Create Along. Place it orange side down onto the clay. Once you're finished screening, make sure you wash that silkscreen right away so that it doesn't dry on the screen. And let that dry on the sheets, and then we're going to silkscreen some more. On another section, I'm using the Crackled Rose silkscreen from Create Along, and I'm going to use some dark scarlet red paint. You want a dark enough scarlet red so that it'll show up a little bit against those background reds. Make sure you wash that screen right away. Next, I'm using some scrap green clay that I have rolled to a setting number 3 on my clay machine. And this time I'm using some raw umber and some Hansa yellow to add some sort of grungy background effect color to the green sheet. Substitute colors as you need to. It's just a background effect. I'm using the Pattern Play silkscreen from Create Along to add some pattern to this. Just place it orange side down. I like to smooth it with my roller just to make sure it's going to stay in place a bit better. And I'm using some black acrylic paint to screen this time. Wash that screen right away and let the paint dry. I used my clay blade to cut some very thin strips of the green printed clay. These are going to be the stems for the flowers. Once I had all the stems cut out, I'm using some black PanPastel and a little applicator, you could use your fingers, to add some of that black pastel to the edges of the stems. Then cut them into random lengths and add them to the background. I cut my small narrow petals from the two red sheets of clay with a craft knife, and I just cut them in random different sizes and lengths. Then I did the same thing with the black PanPastel around the outer edges of each of the petals. Then I started to arrange the petals to make the flowers on each of the stems. I did allow some of the petals to overlap each other here and there. For the centers of the flowers, I'm using some black Primo Sculpey that I rolled to the first setting on the clay machine, and one of my Sculpey Etch and Pearl tools to make some small pearls that I placed in the center of each of the flowers. To mimic the sort of small white swirls you see in the centers of the flowers on the gelatin print, I'm using my Etch and Pearl tool again and some white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to very lightly impress it into each of the small black pearls. Lastly, I hand cut some leaves from that green patterned sheet and again did the edges with the black PanPastel and then arranged the leaves here and there on those stems. Here's a closer look at the finished veneer. I'm really pleased with how this one came out, and I'm so glad that I saw Nelah's original gelatin print to inspire it. I decided to make several pendants and some sets of earrings with my veneer. It would also be great for polymer trading coins or to cover a box. There are lots of options. For more inspiration, join our Polymer Clay Tribe Facebook page. Over 17,000 members sharing projects every day. For lots more creative polymer clay ideas, visit the Polymer Clay TV blog.